Hi friends, so today we'll be seeing bitwise operators. Okay, so this is the most important thing as a programmer to think logically. Okay, so before understanding bitwise operators, and let me write the heading here. That is bitwise operators. Okay, to understand bitwise operators, we have to understand about. Okay, we have to know, what is binary. That we have to know. Okay, because using binary only we can solve the bitwise operators. If you don't know binary system, you can't solve bitwise operator. So now you might be thinking, right? What is binary? I hope you know that 99 people know what is binary, but maybe there might be some people who don't know what is binary. Let me tell you. See, there are many number systems, right? There is a decimal number system, hexadecimal number system. Okay, this is how to represent the numbers. Okay, so the normal day-to-day life, what number system you're using is decimal number system. That is from 0 to 9 digits will be there, right? 9 digits, 10 digits will be there. That is from 0 to 9. So when you're talking to someone, hey, I need 5 potato, something like that. I have 33,000 salary. So all of these numbers, whatever you're speaking, is a decimal number system. But that is for the human beings. So if a computer has to understand something, it has to be in the form of zeros and ones, and those zeros and ones we call it as binary. Okay, binary, bi means two. There are two symbols. Two, what are the two symbols? 0 and 1. Decimal, deci means 10. 10 symbols are there. Yes, so I hope it is very easy to understand. In decimal, okay, the deci word means 10. The deci word means 10. And in binary, okay, in binary word, bi means two. Okay, what are the 10 symbols here? The symbols, okay, symbols are from 0 to 9. 2 means, okay, the symbols are 0 to 1. Okay, so this is how the situation is. Now you have to understand, how do we convert from decimal to binary, binary to decimal? That you have to understand. So if I make a table, okay, this is a basic table which you should be knowing. This is the decimal and this is a binary. Decimal numbers start from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, let's write till that. In binary, if you want to write 0, you will tell it as 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay. If you want to tell 1, you'll tell it as 0, 0, 0, 1. If you want to represent 2, 0, 0, 1, 0, and like this, it continues. Okay. 6, we'll tell 6 as 0, 1, 1, 0, 7 as 0, 1, 1, 1, 8 as 1, 0, 0, 0. Right? So this is how decimal to binary number looks like. Okay. Now I will tell you, how do you convert? For example, if you want to find 9, okay, or if you want to tell 19 or 199, in that cases we need one method to calculate from decimal to binary. So that I'll be telling you how to calculate from decimal to binary. As of now, take the screenshot. I hope you have taken the screenshot. Now I will be erasing all of this. So let's see, okay, conversion of decimal to binary. Okay, let's see this topic. So how do you convert a decimal to binary? Okay, let's see. So I'll be writing here, maybe let's say, a 5. 5, I want to convert 5. So if you have to convert 5, what you have to do is you have to divide by 2 always. You have to divide by 2. So 2, 2s are 4, right? How many times it divides? 2, 2s are 4. How many more is remaining? 1 more is remaining. Again, you have to keep on doing this procedure until you see a 1 here. Are you seeing a 1 here? No. Then you have to continue doing it. Again, you have to divide by 2. 2, 1s are 2, right? What's the remainder? 0 is the remainder. Yes. Are you seeing 1 here? Yes, you are seeing 1, which means you have to stop now. After you do this, you have to go in the reverse direction. And when you go in the reverse direction, you will get the value that is 101. So 101 is a binary value of the 5. So this was one example here. Now let me give some other examples. So this was a one example. Okay, let's see other example. Yes. So I want to, convert 13. So what you have to do? You have to divide by 2, right? 2, 6 the 12. 2, 6 the 12. Does it divide completely? No, it doesn't divide. 1 is the carry. So 1 is the remainder here. Next, you have to keep on doing this procedure until you see a 1 here. Are you seeing 1? No. So again, you have to divide by 2. 2, 3 is a 6. 2, 3 is a 6. What's the remainder? 0 is the remainder. Okay. Are you seeing 1 here? No, which means you have to keep on doing this procedure. Okay. So 2 ones are 2. 2 ones are 2. How many more is remainder? 1 more is remainder. That one I'll be writing here. Now, what you have to do is, are you seeing 1 here? Yes, you have to stop. You have to go in the reverse direction, and if I go in the reverse direction, okay, the binary value will be 1, 1, 0, 1. So this is the binary value of 13. I hope you have somewhat understood this procedure here. Okay, somewhat understood this procedure. Let's see. Okay, so let's take one last example, that is for the number, maybe let's say 19, right? Let's say 19. Yes. So if I have to do for 19, 2 9s are 18. What's the remainder? 1 is the remainder. Are you seeing 1 here? No, you have to keep on doing it. 2 4s are 2 4s are 8. What's the remainder? 1 is the remainder. Okay. Then 2 2s are 4. What's the remainder? 0 is the remainder. You have to keep on doing this procedure until you see a 1 here. Are you seeing 1? No. So you keep on do this procedure. 2 1s are 2. What's the remainder? 0 is the remainder. So you have to go in the reverse direction. So binary value is 1 double 0 double 1 is the binary value. Okay. So I hope you have understood, how do you convert a decimal value to binary value. I hope you have taken this screenshot. Now using the same example, using the same screen here, I want to explain you, okay? I want to explain you how to convert, okay? I want to explain you how to convert binary back to the decimal form. Because whatever you're seeing now is a binary number, right? I want, whenever you see a binary number, how do you convert it to decimal? That I want to explain it to you. Okay, so let's see, if a binary number is given to us, like if this number is given to us, that is 1010011 is given to us, we have to tell, hey, that's decimal value is 19. So how can we achieve this? Let's see, I will tell you a procedure, you have to just follow it. Okay, you have to take a number, the smallest number, and you have to keep on doubling it. Okay, you have to take a smallest number and you have to keep on doubling it. Now what's the smallest number, you might be thinking, right? Yes, the smallest number is 0. In a positive integer range, the smallest number is 0. But what is double of 0? 0 into 2, 0, right? So double of 0 is 0. Double of 0 is 0. So 0 is not the smallest number which you are looking for. Okay, 0 is not the smallest number. What's the smallest number? Smallest number after 0 is 1. Okay, don't tell -1, -2 and all, because we can't take negative numbers here. The smallest number is 1. So what you have to do is, watch here, I'll be taking a different ink here. You have to take the smallest number, that is 1, and you have to keep on doubling it. What's double of 1? 2. Double of 2? 4. Yes. Okay. Now, not only that, everywhere I want to do the same thing, so that at once you will understand what's the procedure to convert from binary to decimal. So what's the smallest number? The smallest number has to be starting not from the left side, but from the right side. Okay, so I'll be writing the smallest number, that is 1. I will double it, that is 2. I'll double it, 4. I'll double the 4. 4 into 2 is 8. Yes. Not only that, I'll come here and I'll do the same thing. Smallest number is 1, which you have to write on the right side. Double of 1, 2. Double of 2, 4, 8, and 16. Okay, so after writing these numbers, then what to do, sir? You might be thinking, right? What to do is very simple. Wherever there is 0, ignore that doubled value. Wherever there is 0, ignore that doubled value. Okay, now, let me show it in example here. Wherever there is 0, I will be marking that like this. I'll be marking that like this. Here there is 0, I'll be marking it here. And here there are 2 zeros, so I'll be marking it here like this. So I have deleted all those values which are containing 0. Yes. Now, whatever you have not deleted, you have to add them. Okay, whatever you have not deleted, you have to add them. So 4 plus 1. What is 4 plus 1? 5. 4 plus 1 is 5. Don't you think by looking at the binary value, we have again got back the decimal value, right? So we got the answer as 5. Not only that, let's check here also. So here it is 8 plus 4 plus 1. What is 8 plus 4? 12. 12 plus 1? 13. Yes, 13 was the binary. 13 is the decimal value of that binary value. Okay, next let's see here. Okay, that is 16 plus 2 plus 1. What is 16 plus 2? 18. 18 plus 1? 19, right? So 19 was the decimal value of this binary value. I hope that everyone has understood the simple procedure, right? Please take this screenshot. Please take this screenshot. I hope you have taken this screenshot. Okay. Now let me give the last example. Okay. Here. So I'll be writing the number 10110001 like this. Okay. This is maybe this is yes. Let me write here. So this is a binary value, right? This is a binary value. So someone has told this is a binary value. Give me its decimal value. Someone is telling. Now you don't have to be glorified. You can easily do it because you know the procedure. What you have to do? You have to start from the smallest number. What is the smallest number? 1. Just keep on doubling it. That is double of 1 is 2. Then 4, 8, 16, 32, 64. Okay, I don't have space, so let me write in the above. 128, 256. Okay, then 512, then 1024. Okay, so yes, so these are the values. Okay, now what you have to do, wherever there is 0, you have to put a line there. You should not count that. So let me go and let me search for a different color here. Yes, so wherever there is 0, I am blocking it. I'm blocking it. Yes, I'm blocking this. Okay, actually, yeah, and I'll block this also. Actually, this is 64. Okay, I think my eraser has erased it. Okay. Now, what you have to do after this? After this, what you have to do is you have to add the numbers which is containing 1. That is 1024 plus 256 plus 128 plus 32, right? 32 plus 8 here, 8 plus 2 plus 1, right? So this is what you have to do. Now if I start to calculate, let's see what is 32 plus 8, 40, right? So I'll consider this, and I want to add it now. So 40. Then plus what is 128 plus 2? 128 plus 2 is 130. I'll do 130 here. Okay. Plus. Okay. So what is 256? 256 plus 1024. 256 plus 1024. Okay. It will give us a 0 here. Okay. I'll be writing here 0. Then 1 carry. 5 plus 2 is 7. 8. Okay. 2 and 1 is 1280. Then plus 1 is there, which I'll be writing here. Yes. So now let's see. 1280, 130 and 14. Let's do this math slowly. So 0 and 8 plus 3 is 11. 11 plus 4. Okay. Yes. 11 plus 4 is 15. 1 carry. 2 plus 3. 2 plus 1 is 3. 4 and 1. So 1450 plus 1 is there, So 14 plus 1 is 1451. Okay. So we have deduced that, the decimal value of that big binary value is 1451. Okay. We have deduced it. Now let me convert it back this decimal to binary to check whether it will work or not. So what I'll do is I'll put a line here, okay, so that I can write it here. 1451. I want to know for this 1451. Okay, 1451. What is the binary value? So start from 2. 2 sevens are 14, right? 2 sevens are 14. 2 twos are 4. 1 carry here. 2 fives are 10. 1 carry. 2 threes are 6. Okay, 2 3s are 6, 2 6s are 12, 2 2s are 4, 1 carry, 2 1s are 2, 2 8s are 16, 2 1s are 2, 0 carry, 2 9s are 18, and 0, 1 carry. 2, 45, right? 0 carry. 2, 2s are 4. 2, 2s are 4, 1 carry. 2, 11s are 22, 0 carry. Okay. 2, 5s are 10, right? 1 carry. I don't have space here. 2, 2s are 4. Okay. 1 carry. Then finally, 2, okay. 1s are 2, 0 carry, right? 0 carry. 2 1s are 2 here. Let me write 1 here. Yes. Okay, I think here there is no spaces here. Okay, so it is 1 here. So if you go back, it is 1 0 1 1 1 0 1, and you can see, you can notice here both of these values are same. Okay, you have to go in the reverse direction. I hope you have understood clearly now. Okay, so this is what you have to understand. Now once you understood this, now bitwise operators you will understand. Okay, so what are the bitwise operators? Okay, let's see about that. So what is this bitwise operator? Let's see. So let me write the, the heading as bitwise operators. The operators are, which we'll be seeing today, is and, XOR, and OR. Okay, especially these three bitwise operators we'll be seeing today. And what was the truth table of XOR here? Because and OR is simple. Okay, the truth table for XOR, let me write here. Truth table. Let's imagine this is the two input A and B. Output is 5. 0 0 0 1 1 0 1 1. Okay. So in XOR, only if both input are changing, then only output is 1. Okay. If there is a change, if there is a fluctuation, then only output is 1. Let's see. Here I have 0 to 0. Both input are 0 and 0. Is there any change here? No. If there is no change, output is 0 only. Okay. Then you can see 1 and 1 here. 1 to 1, is there any fluctuation there? No. 1 and 1 both are same, which means answer is still 0. Output is 0. Now you see here, okay, 0 to 1. Don't think there is a change. 0 to 1, there is a change here. If there is a change, output is 1. And 1 to 0, again there is a change, output is 1. So this is the truth table of XOR here. Okay, truth table of XOR. Simple. So in XOR, what you have to remember? Only if there is a change in the input, your output will be 1. That's it. So now let's see the three things. Okay, that is I want to know the output of 5 and 3, then 5 or 3, then 5 XOR 3. These three, output we will see. So binary value of 5, I have already taught you how to calculate. So it is 1 0 1. Binary value of 3 0 1 1. Now I have to do AND operation between them, right? Okay, AND. What is 1 and 1? 1 and 1 is 1. 0 and 1. 0 and 1 is 0. Because in AND operator, both has to be 1 to output to be 1. Okay, what is 1 and 0? 1 and 0 is 0. Okay, so this is a binary value, right? And I have told you how to calculate a binary value to decimal value. So what you, okay, let's keep it that as it is, let's keep it that as it is. At the end, we'll calculate. So binary value of 5, 1 0 1, value of 3, right? 0 1 1. And what you have to do is we have to do OR operation between them. Or what is 1 or 1? 1 or 1 is 1. Because in OR operator, if any one of the input is 1, output is 1. What is 0 or 1? 1. 1 or 0? 1. We'll keep it there as it is. XOR now. 5 is 1 0 1, 3 is 0 1 1. XOR means if the bits are changing, then only output is 1. So 1 to 1, are the bits changing here? No, bits are not changing. 0 to 1, are the bits changing? Yes. 1 to 0, are the bits changing? Yes. So these are all the binary values, but you have to understand, your computer will not print binary values. Your computer always prints decimal values. Okay, so let's convert, from binary to decimal. So what I'll be doing is, I'll be taking a different color now. So number always starts from 1. Okay, number always starts from 1 and you have to keep on doubling it. 2 and 4. Here also let me do the same. 1, 2, 4 and here also 1, 2, 4. Then what you have to do is wherever, okay, let me, yes, wherever there is zero, you have to ignore those numbers. Yes, here there is zero, ignore those numbers, right? After that, whichever you have not ignored, you have to add those numbers. That is 1 here. So the answer is 1 here. So it is 4 plus 2 plus 1. And here, 0 you have ignored, the ones you should not ignore. So it is 4 plus 2. 4 plus 1 is 7. 4 plus 2 is 6. Okay, which means 5 and 1, 5 or 3, the answer will be 7. 5 XOR 3, the answer will be 6. Okay, this is how to calculate your bitwise operators. Let's compile and let's see, whether this answer is same or not. 5 and where is this? Yes, and 3, 5 or 3, and 5 XOR 3. Let's see. So according to us, 5 and 3 should give us 1. So I'll write it here. And 5 or 3 should give us 7. Okay. And 5 XOR 3 should give us 6. This is what according to us. Let's see. I'll compile. Okay. And if I execute, let's see what is the output here. See, I hope you have understood, right? It is the same. So once you know how to evaluate these kind of questions, it's easy for you. So let's see now. Okay. I will erase all of this. Yes, in the meanwhile, take the screenshot once. Take the screenshot. I hope you have taken the screenshot. Okay. Let me give one last example, right? Let me so that you will understand this more clearly. So maybe I'll write here 19 and maybe let's say 23, 19 or 23 and 19 XOR 23. So for 19, what is the binary value, right? So let's see, for 19, the binary value would be, okay, 8. So 9, this is 9, 9 into 2, yes. So this will be our binary value of 19. You can test it if you want. Binary value of 23, right? 23 binary value will be, yes. So I'll tell this is 5, 10, 20, and 3. So this should be 23. Okay. So these two are our yes numbers. Now, and let's do this AND operator here. Okay. Let me change the color. So 10011, 10111. Between them, I have to do which operator? AND operator now. Okay. And here, let me write here 10011, 10111. Between them, I have to do OR operator. Right? Between them, I have to do OR operator. Yes. So 10011. Between them, I have to do XOR operator. Let's see. In AND operator, if both input are 1, then only output is 1. So 1 and 1 answer is 1. 1 and 1 answer is 1. 0 and 1 answer is 0. 0 and 0 answer is 0. 1 and 1 answer is 1. Here, when I come to OR, in OR operator, if any one of the input is 1, output is 1. So 1 or 1, 1, 1 or 1, 1, 0 or 1. At least 1 is there, so 1. Okay. So 0 or 0, 0. 1 or 1, it is 1. We'll come here. So XOR. What's the meaning of XOR? Only if the bits are changing, then only output is 1. 1 to 1, are the bits changing here? No. 1 to 1, are the bits changing? No. 0 to 1, are the bits changing? Yes. Right? Bits are changing. 0 to 0, are the bits changing? No. 1 to 1, are the bits changing? No. Yes. Now let's see how to calculate. This is the binary value. How do you calculate that? It's a decimal value. Because whatever you're printing is in the decimal form. So start from the number 1, keep on doubling it, 2, 4, 16. Do the same thing here. 1, 2, 4, 8, and 16. Here also 1, 2, 4, 8, and 16. Now what you have to do? What you have to do is to cancel all those numbers wherever there is a zero. I'll yes, I'll cancel here, and I'll cancel this number. I'll cancel all these numbers like this. Now whichever you have not cancelled, you have to add those numbers. So if I add those numbers, it is 16 plus 2 plus 1. What's the answer? That is 19. Okay, 19. And here it is 16 plus 4 plus 2 plus 1. Answer is 23. And if I do here, the answer is 4. Okay, so let's see, answer should be 19, 23, and 4. 19, 23, and 4. So answer should be 19, 23, and 4. Let's see whether we'll get or not. See, 19, 23, and 4. No, we will definitely get this answer. So I hope you have understood how to calculate bitwise operators. Okay. So one last thing, so that we can understand what's going on here. I told you the precedence level, right? There is a precedence level here. So which has highest precedence? AND operator. Then which has highest precedence? XOR operator. Then comes the OR operator. Okay, this is how your precedence level is. Why precedence is very important? Why? Because when you're solving them in a single line, which you have to solve first depends upon its precedence. For example, if someone asks what is 5 and 3 or 8, XOR 5 and 7 XOR 6 or 4. If someone asks this question, then how do you solve it, right? Yes, now let's come. Which has highest priority? AND operator, which means you have to solve only those operators which has AND on it. So this is the operator which you have to solve, and all the AND operator I have to solve. Other operator you have to keep as it is. Okay. So 5 and 3 you have to solve. After solving 5 and 3, now let's imagine, I'm not doing it because you can do it on your own. Let's imagine after doing 5 and 3, the answer would be maybe, I'm just taking for a number sake here. Let's say it is 1, right? 1. Okay, answer is 1. Other operator or 8 you have to keep as it is. Okay, XOR you have to keep as it is. 5 and 7. Okay, in 5 and 7, let's say the answer is 5. Let's say the result is 5 here, right? Okay. Then XOR is there, 6 or 4 is there. So this other operator you have to write as it is. Then after this, what you have to do? You have to solve the next highest precedence. Which has the next highest precedence? XOR. Okay, which means you have to solve this first. You have to solve this first. But if you notice, again there is XOR here also, right? Which means what you have to do is, okay, first you solve this. Okay, first you solve this. What is 8 XOR 5? Let's imagine, okay, other operator as it is 1 or 8 XOR 5. Let's imagine it as 3. Okay, this answer is 3. I'm not deriving, I'm just telling you. Just imagine. Then you have to do XOR 6 again or 4. Now you have to do here, 3 XOR 6 you have to do. 1 or 3 XOR 6, let's imagine it is 3. Okay, let's imagine. And I'll tell here 4 other operators as it is. Now you have to solve it from left to right. What is 1 or 3? Now you have to solve this. Okay, maybe 1 or 3, I'll tell it as 3. Right? I'll tell it as 3. Again, or 4 is there. And if I solve this, maybe, okay, the answer will be 7. Okay, the answer will be 7 maybe. So this will be our answer. So this is how you have to solve. And the procedure you already know because you have done the same thing for logical, for arithmetic also, right? It's the same. You just have to know the precedence level of the operators. Okay. So if someone asks you any question on this, you just have to ask them one thing. Hey, give me the precedence table, I'll solve the rest. Because sometimes, remembering the precedence level is difficult. So maybe you can search in the internet on what's the precedence level, then you can solve on your own. Okay. Now there is a website, for the precedence here. Okay, there is a website. You just search in Google, what is the precedence level? Okay, in Java. So what you'll get is like this. Okay. So which has the lowest precedence? The lowest precedence is the assignment operator. All these operators I will tell about you. Okay. Terminal operator I will tell. Okay. Then logical, yes, all this have the lowest precedence. Which has the highest precedence? This much here. Okay. Parenthesis, bracket. Okay. And dot operator has the highest precedence. After which comes increment operators. Okay. Then comes multiplication division. So these are the things, where it is difficult to by heart. So how do you remember that? Just every day, just look at this website so that you will understand, okay, which comes above what, which comes below what. So when you look at it for 1 week, you will understand, okay, so parenthesis has the highest precedence. All those things, naturally will come to you. So you just have to look at it daily, once in a day, once a while, you just look at it. Okay. So yeah. So I hope you have understood here, right? So now, what is the difference, between this operator and the and operator? See, one thing I want to tell you, definitely I have not completed, right? I have not completed bitwise operators, because in the bitwise operators there is something called as negation, there is something called as left shift, right shift. All of these we will be taught not in the demo classes, in the actual classes when the course begins. Okay. So because that I'll need to give a more in-depth explanation where no one is giving. So that I don't want to give it now itself, because it will, first of all, it will bore you. Okay. And it is very important, so I don't want to give it now. So let's see what's the difference between single AND operator and double AND operator. Okay, fine. So in double AND we have already seen, right, that it skips evaluation, because when the condition is false it will not check the other condition. So let me erase this, erase all. I'll be writing one code here. Let me change the color. So I'll be writing one code. Let me write the code here itself. So I'll be creating one variable, int a is equals to 5. I've created this variable. I'll be creating one more variable, int b is equals to, maybe let's say 50. Then I'll be writing an if block here. After the if block, I'll tell system.out.println. Okay, I want to print a. Okay, I want to print a value. Then I want to print b value. Okay, I want to print a value. Then I want to print b value. So a plus plus. Okay, let's say here plus plus a is greater than 0. Okay. So if I write this program, can anyone tell me what is the output? What is the output? Okay. Is it pre-increment or is it post-increment, right? Is it pre-increment or post-increment? It is pre-increment, means increment first. Okay, increment first. So before solving these kind of problems, I have told you clearly that you have to draw the memory box. Okay, memory box of A. What's the memory box of A? It is 5. Memory box of B, it is 50. So if I tell plus plus A, plus plus A means I have to increment A first. So if I will increment A becomes 6 now. A becomes 6. Okay. If A becomes 6, I am checking the condition now. Is 6, okay? Is it greater than 0? Yes, 6 is greater than 0. Okay. If 6 is greater than 0, what you are doing? You are doing nothing. You are doing nothing. So nothing will happen here. But control will come out of the if statement. And when it prints A, what's the A value now? It is 6. B value is still 50 only. Let's compile and see whether we have understood this topic or not. See, answer is 6 and 50 here. Okay, fine. This is simple. You might be thinking, yes, let's see here. Slowly we will be proceeding. Okay. So the next thing which I'll be writing is here, like this. That is and operator. Okay, and operator. So let me write here, less than, and let me write here, plus plus b, is it greater than 0? Okay, is it greater than 0? Now, what do you think is the output? Okay, what do you think is the output? Okay. So let's see, first what you have to do, you have to draw the memory table. Okay. In the meanwhile, when I'm solving this, I want you to give me the output. Let's see what's the output. Memory box of A is 5, memory box of B is 50. So plus A, okay? Plus A means first increment the A value becomes 6. A value becomes 6. The question is 6 less than 0? Okay, is 6 less than 0? Tell me, is 6 less than 0? No, 6 is not less than 0. If it is no, don't you think the answer is false here? If the answer is false, okay, if the answer is false, will it check the second condition? Because I told you in and operator, if the first condition is false, will it check the second condition? No, it will not check the second condition. Okay, if it will not check the second condition, means control, control will never come here. Control will never come to plus b. Plus b will never happen. Okay, is it clear? Which means only it will continue till that. Now, if I print a value, don't you think a value is 6 here? Yes. B value is still 50 only. Let's check this. Let's check this. I'll be compiling. So those who understood, please tell yes, and take the screenshot. Now let me keep it here. Okay, answer is 6 and 50. Okay, please take the screenshot. So Ayushi has not got it. Ayushi, were you present in the classes when I was teaching about logical operators? Were you present? Because don't worry, this I'll be doing for maybe 15 more minutes. Okay. So if you are present that day, definitely today you'll understand. Okay. 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 You are okay. 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 You are telling that. Okay. So you have understood. Okay. Fine. Okay. That's good to hear. So next we'll see the next, different types of problem we'll see so that we'll have full grip here. So I'll be closing this. Let's change the question a little bit. That is it greater than 0? Is it greater than 0? Now let's draw the memory diagram here, right? Always it is important to draw it like that. Okay. So let me change the color here. Maybe color is to A and B value. What's the A value in the beginning? 5. B value 50. Plus A, right? So increment A first. A value becomes 6. Is 6 greater than 0? Yes, answer is true. If the answer is true, then only check the second condition. Check it, I'm telling. Okay. So plus b. What is the value of plus b? First increment the b value. So 51. Is 51, is it greater than 0? Yes, that is also true only. What is true? And true. True and true is true. Right? If of true, what will happen? Right now, nothing will happen because nothing is there in this body. Sir, can you give like that? Is it okay to give nothing in this body? Yes, it is fine. No problem. Okay. So, yes, the evaluation is true, but when you come out, you are printing the A value. A value is 6, B value is 51. Okay, let's see here. Answer is 6 and 51. So please take the screenshot. Only and is the operator. Okay, understand this thing. And or. This is the question which will be asked. Which is the operator which skips the right hand side evaluation? Okay, which is the operator? That is logical operators. All the logical operator? No. Logical operator which is and or, right? And operator and or operator of the logical operator gives the evaluation. Okay. So I hope you have taken this screenshot. Now let me clear this. So what if I write here less than, yes, I want to know the answer. Who will tell the answer first? Let's see. What if I write less than? What will be the answer? What is the answer? So is it 6 and 51 only? Is it? Or 6 and 50? What is it? Let's see. Let's see. So yeah, I have to draw the memory diagram. That is A value, B value. A value is 5, B value is 50. Okay. Let's see some chat. Okay. So SM is telling and that it is okay. Let's see, 6 and so plus A, plus A means first increment the A value, it becomes 6. Is 6 greater than 0? Yes, condition is true. And operator. Plus V. Yes. Don't you think if the condition is true, control will come to the right side here? The previous condition was true. That's why the control will come here. And if the control comes here, plus B will happen. So 50 becomes 51. There is no doubt about it. But is 51, is it less than 0? No, 15 is not less than 0. So the condition is false here. Condition is false. But don't you think evaluation already happened here? Evaluation is already finished. So what is true and false? Answer is false. There is no doubt about it. Answer is false. But increment has already happened. So if I print the A value and the B value, it will be 6 and 51 again. Okay. It will be 6 and 51 again. I hope everyone has understood. So let's see. I will take the output here. Take the screenshot here. You go to any institute, they will not teach you all this. You mark my words, they will not teach you. If they're teaching you, it means that, maybe they have seen this video or they have copied. Because I've been in this field for, 2 years and I know what they are teaching, what others are teaching or not. So in this depth, no one will teach you. But understand one thing, this is very important for a programmer. You can't call yourself a programmer if you don't know basics. Okay. So if you're a programmer, it means that you should know end to end. Okay. If anyone has any doubt, you should be able to answer that. Then only you're a programmer. Or else you are a newbie. You're like putting a name around your head, but you're not actually anything. Actually, most of the people are like that. So yeah. So I hope you have taken this screenshot also. No, if you're not taken, take it fast. Okay, take it fast. Answer is still the same. I'll give you 3 seconds. See, there is a lot more. Okay, there is a lot more to teach here. These are all the basics. Okay, there are more tricks. There are more everything. Strings, array, collections, number pattern. Everything is very easy. We'll go to that one by one. I'll clear this now. Okay. Now let's see about OR operator. Okay. I will change here. I'll change the operator to OR. I'll change the operator to OR. So can anyone tell me what is the output now? Okay, what is the output? What is the output here? Memory of A, memory of B. A is 5, B is 50. Let's see what is the output here. Same, 6 and 50 only. Yes, great, great. 50, okay, 6 and 50 you are telling Harshdeep. Okay. Okay. 6 and 51. SN from tomorrow, okay, SN. Please change your name to the name which I can call you. Okay, 6 and 50. Okay, Ayush is telling 6 and 50. So Sheikh is telling 6 and 51. Yes, Deepanshu 6 and 51. Okay. So, I would like to revise one small thing for you guys, What's here? Okay, I would like to revise something here. I told you clearly in the AND operator and OR operator, right? See, in AND operator, what's the meaning of AND operator? Only if all the conditions are true, then only output is true. In AND operator, if one condition is also false, okay? For example, I'll write here false and okay? I'll write false and I'll write true and I'll write true. So what happens is when the compiler sees the first false condition, it will not even check the other conditions. It will not check other conditions. Why it will not check? Because it knows that in AND operator, if one condition is false, everything is false. So why do I have to even waste my time to check the other conditions? It will not even check the other conditions. So in AND operator, control will not move forward when the first condition is false. I have told clearly, right? I have given the notes also. Now in OR operator, what is the case here? In OR operator, if one of the condition is true, everything is true. So if I write the equation like this, that is true or false, okay? Or if I write 1,000 false, if I write 1,000 false here, it doesn't matter because if one of them is true, everything is true. Okay, that's why compiler also knows this. So compiler will not waste any time. As soon as your compiler sees the first true condition, it will not waste any time. It will tell itself, hey, one of them is true, which means everything is true only. Why do I have to waste my time to check other conditions? So in our OR operator, what you have to understand is if one of them is true, it will not check the other conditions. Okay. Now let me come back to the code and tell something to you. Don't think it's a OR operator here. If it's a OR operator, if one of them is true, will you check the other condition? No, it will not check the other condition. Let's see. Plus plus a, memory value of a and b. Okay. A value is 5, B value is 50, right? So plus plus A, okay, plus plus, first increment the A value to 6. Is 6 greater than 0? Yes, 6 is greater than 0. If 6 is greater than 0, first condition is true. In OR operator, if the first condition is true, will you check the second condition? No. So plus plus B will never happen. Only plus plus A will execute. So plus answer is 6 and 50. Answer is 6 and 50. I hope that everyone has understood this. Okay. So let me compile and execute. Everything is simple here, everything is simple. You will understand everything. Just have to attend the class, that's it. Those who can't attend the YouTube sessions. Okay. Let's see. So you can take the screenshot in the meanwhile. I will execute again. Yes, answer is 6 and 50 as we expected. Okay. So take the screenshot and in the meanwhile, you can tell whether you have understood or not. I hope you have taken the screenshot. Okay. I'll close this. Clear. Okay. Now let me write here less than. I want you guys to evaluate and tell me what's the answer now. Right? I have written less than. So what might be the answer? What might be the answer? Yeah, let's see your answers. 6 and 51. But both conditions are false here. 6 and 51. Okay, let's see. Okay. Let's see. Let's first trace it, right? So plus plus A. Okay. Plus plus A. Memory diagram of A and B. A value is 5, B value is 50. Plus plus A. First increment the A value to 6. We have incremented. Is 6 less than 0? Is 6 less than 0? No, 6 is not less than 0. So if this condition is false, then only it will check the other condition. It will think, okay, this is false, but in the future there might be a true value. So it will keep on, going till it finds a true value. Okay, it wants a true value, so it will search again. Okay, it will search again. So plus plus B, so it will increment the B now to 51. Okay, 50 to 50. Yes, it will increment to 51 here. So is 51, is it less than 0? No, this is also false. Okay, so what is false or false? False or all false is false. So what is the A value? 6. B value 51. Both will be incremented, right? Yes. So let's see. Yeah, I will compile and execute. So, so let's see what's the answer. So 6 and 51 is the answer. Take this screenshot. Okay? Take this screenshot. So I hope you have taken this screenshot. Okay. Okay. So let's see one thing. This is a little difficult. Okay. Clear all rows. I will tell. Okay. Maybe yes. A value is 5, right? So A plus. Okay. A plus plus. Is it less than or equals to 5? Okay. So let's say is it less than or equals to 5 and then not that I'll come here and write and operator. Okay. So plus let me write here, is a value, is it less than or equals to 5 and a plus plus value, is it, or let's say here, plus a value, is it less than or equals to 5? Yes. So yeah. So what is the output? What do you think? I'll remove the b value. Now b value is not required. So what do you think is the output here? What do you think is the output? What do you think is the output? No, yeah, 6. Is it 6? Okay. So yeah, some of you are telling 6. Let's see, So a value is 50 now, right? A value is 5. A value is 5. So a plus plus. A plus plus means increment later. Now use the value of 5. What's the now value of a? What's the value of a? 5. Plus plus is there. Go to the memory. Make it 6. Is 5 less than or equals to 5? Yes. Condition is true. If the condition is true, then only it will check the second condition. Okay. What's the a value right now? A value is 6, right? In the memory, a value is 6. You can notice. Is 6 less than or equals to 5? No. 6 is not less than or equals to 5. If it is not less than or equals to 5, then condition is false. If the condition is false, it will not execute the last statement. It will not execute the last statement. So what's in the memory? What's the value of a? It is 6, right? So here you have to be careful in these kind of programs, So answer will be 6. Let's see. So see, answer is 6. Okay, take this screenshot. Take this screenshot. So till now, what I have done is I have explained you what is this and operator and how it works. So now let me tell you about and operator. Let me tell you about and operator. In the meanwhile, you can take this screenshot. Okay, take this screenshot. I hope you have taken the screenshot. So let me erase everything here and let me tell you about and operator. So first of all, can I write? Okay, can I write 5 and 5? Right? I mean, true and true. Let's see here. True, double and true. Yes, we know we can use double and, but my question is, can I use single and? Yes, we can use a single and, right? I have explained it very clearly in the last class. We can write, no problem with this. Okay, no problem. So I'll undo so that, yes. So if we have A and B here, right, I'll undo still more. So let me go to the first questions here. So if I write here single and, okay, if I write single and, so what is the output now, right? What is the output now? I'll be telling you first. Okay. So see, if I tell, if I write a equation like this, 5 plus 2 plus 3, don't you think from left to right completely you have to evaluate? You have to evaluate completely from left to right, because there is no concept of skipping the evaluation. There is no concept here. I hope you are understanding, right? So if it is 5 into 2 plus 3, don't you think completely from left to right we have to evaluate no matter what? Yes. So you have to understand each and every operator you have to evaluate. Each and every operator you have to evaluate. Arithmetic operator, logical operator, everything you have to evaluate. But only in the logical operator, not in the bitwise. Okay, only in the logical operator, there is a concept of skipping the evaluation. Is this a logical operator? No. So there is no concept of skipping the evaluation now, which means from left to right completely you have to solve it. Okay, so watch here carefully. A value memory. Okay, A value is 5, B value is 50. Okay, so plus A means first increment the A value to 6. Okay, is 6 less than 0? No, means condition is false, right? Condition is false. In the logical AND operator, if the condition was false, it will not check the other condition. But this is not a logical operator, right? This is a bitwise operator. Even though condition is true or false, whatever it is, you have to just keep on evaluating from left to right. I hope this is clear. So what will happen is it will check the second condition irrespective of the previous condition. Okay. So plus B, your B will be incremented to 51. Is 51, is it greater than 0? Yes. Okay. So is 6 less than 0? It is false. And is 50 greater than 0? Yes, it is true. What is false and true? Answer is false only. False and true is false. But when I print the A value and the B value, don't you think it will print 6 and 51? Yes, it will print. Okay. It will print 6 and 51. Let's see. Okay. I hope this concept is very clear. Only in the logical operator there is a concept called as skipping, but not in any other operators. Okay, so this is a normal operator which you have to do. 6 and 51 will be our answer. See, I hope you understood it. 6 and 51 will be our answer. Take this screenshot. I hope you have taken the screenshot. Okay, so I'll be clearing this. Okay. Error? No, it will not tell error, right? It will not tell error. It will not tell error. Why it will tell error? Okay. So same thing, See, imagine if it was previously. Okay, I'll write the previous answer. The previous answer was 6 and 51, right? This is my previous answer. What is my current answer now? My current answer, if I change, okay, if I change the single and to double and, if I change this to double and here, okay, what are the changes? What will happen? Watch here. Plus A value becomes 6. A value becomes 6. Is 6 less than 0? No, the condition is false. If the condition is false, will it check the second condition? No. Okay, so plus B will not happen. So if I use a logical AND, only 6 and 50 is the answer. 6 and 50 is the answer now. Okay, so let's see, right? I hope that all of you have understood it, but also I'm executing for the last time. So finally, when I execute, so answer is 6 and 50, right? So it is as simple as that. Same thing if I use OR operator. Okay, let's see. So what is the concept of OR operator? In OR operator, right? If the first one is true, it will not check the other condition. That is how it is in OR operator. I'll make it as 2 here, right? I'll make it as 2. So what should happen is, I should make it as a logical OR. Okay? In OR operator, logical OR operator, from left to right, completely it will evaluate. So let's see, it will evaluate from left to right, which is plus A should happen, plus B should happen. So answer should be 6 and 51. Let's see. No need to trace now because it is very clear that it will do plus A also, it will do plus B also. Which means answer will be 6 and 51, right? Whether the condition is true or false. Let me make it the first condition as false, right? Yes, whether the condition is true or false, answer will be 6 and 51 because it will evaluate completely from left to right. Okay, yes, you can take this screenshot. You can take this screenshot. I hope that this concept is also very clear for you guys. Okay. So this is all about this bitwise operators, difference between bitwise and logical. Okay. Now I would like to explain you about ternary operator. Okay, ternary operator. So what is this ternary operator? Okay. Okay. See, before talking about ternary operator, one important message I wanted to give you is it is not 6 and 50. Okay, it is not 6 and 50. Srishendu. Okay, it is 6 and 51 because it is not a logical or it will not skip anything. Complete it will evaluate. Okay. So watch here. What? Yes, I will be telling like this so that just a minute here. I'll be I'll be clearing this. Just a minute, yes. Let me do a new slide. I want to talk, difference between C programming language and Java with respect to their Boolean values. Okay, because this is little important to understand. So in Java programming, okay, you answer me one thing. In Java programming, is this allowed? If often in Java, is this allowed? No, right? Why? Because numbers are not accepted as a condition. If you want to give something as a condition, it has to be Boolean value. That is how it is in Java. Okay, in Java you have to give true or false, but that is in Java, right? But in C programming, or C++, this is allowed. Okay, this is allowed. That knowledge you should have. So in C programming or C++, what is true value, what is false value? All right. What is false value? The false value is 0. Only 0 is the false value in C programming language. Okay, what is true value? The true value is anything other than 0. That is, 1 is a true value, 2 is a true value, minus 1 is a true value. Okay, 5.5 is a true value. Okay, 6.8 is a true value, minus 5.5 is a true value, 0.3 is a true value, minus 0.3 is a true value. I hope you are understanding. Okay, everything is true value in C and C++. Exactly 0 if you write an exact 0, that is the false value in C. Okay, but not in Java. Okay, in Java, if it has to be true, it has to be true. There is no numeric value for true. Okay, there is no numeric value. True means 1. Nothing is there like that in Java, but in C and C++ it is there. I hope you have taken this point. Okay, please take this screenshot. Take this screenshot. Okay, I hope you have taken the screenshot now. Let me talk about the ternary operators. Okay, so how this ternary operator looks like? See, ternary operator will really be in handy. Okay, when we need it, it will be in handy because it is the short form of if and else. Okay, so before going to ternary operator, definitely we should be knowing about if and else. And I have not taught you about if and else till now, right? You might be knowing, but I have not taught in the video. Which means if there is any newbies here, if they don't know what is if and else, you'll be understanding it here now. So this if and else, how it works, let's see. I'll be writing the scenarios here, if and else, right? Okay. If the condition is true, okay, what will happen is it will execute the if body, but it will not execute the else. That is how your if and else works. Now let me take one condition. What if the condition is false? If the condition is false, okay, it will not execute the if, but it will execute the else. Simple, right? It's very simple. So if the condition is true, the if body will be executed, else body will not be executed. But if the condition is false, whenever the condition is false, if body will never get executed, but the else body gets executed. Okay, this is how it is. Now, yes, I'll be going to the program here. Yes, let me write here if and else. If I'll be writing true here. Okay, system dot out dot println. I'll write here, executing if. Okay, same thing I'll tell here in the else part. else part I will tell, okay. What I have to tell? Executing else. Executing else. Now tell me whether is the condition true or false? The condition is true. If the condition is true, the if body will be executed, else part will not be executed. Okay. It is like our tossing of a coin, right? Can there be, when you toss a coin, it is either head or tails. Can you get both head and tails at the same time? The same thing like that here also. Let's see, whether now we can see that condition is true, and if the condition is true, always the if will execute like this, right? Executing if. What if the condition is false? Right here, the condition is false. Yes. And when I execute, okay, when I execute, so it is telling executing else. What it is doing, it is not executing the if block, it is executing the else block. Okay. So now I want to tell something. That is, I want to write multiple statements in the if block. Okay, I want to write multiple statements in the if block. I want to tell, executing if one. Okay, then we have executing, okay, if two. Right, I'll be writing here executing if two, and I'll be telling executing if three. I'll be telling like this. Okay, this is what I'll be telling. Watch here. Press any key to continue. It is telling executing else. Why? Because the condition is false. Let's give the condition as true. If you want to execute multiple statements, then what you have to do is you have to give the body within the if. Okay. Can you see this is a bracket and this is the bracket? Yes, this is called as a body of the if. Whatever you want to execute, you have to give within a body. So if I compile and execute, let's see. See, three statements I have executed. Now you might be thinking that so what is this bracket? Should we really give? Yes, I'll remove the brackets. Watch here. I'm removing the brackets now. Is it necessary to give brackets? No. No. Only if there is only one statement. Don't you think else has only one statement to execute? Yes, if it has only one statement to execute, whether you give brackets or don't give brackets, it doesn't matter. Okay. You see now, I'll make the condition as false. So if the condition is false, what should execute? Else block should execute. If the condition is false, the else block should execute. Let's see. Okay. And it will execute because if there is only one statement, there is no problem. There is no problem here. See, executing else. Okay. Now, what if, yes, we'll see other things here. We'll see other things. One by one, we'll see. I'm making a if. How to if or false? If or false means what will execute? The else part will execute. I'll compile and see whether the else part is executing or not. Okay. Yes, I'll compile and see. Yes, else part is executing. But what if, what if there is no else part at all? What if there is no else part? Like this. So if or false means what should execute? If or false means else should execute. But is there any else in our program now? There is no else, which means you are trying to find the else, there is no else. Tell me, will it give me compilation error or not? What do you think? What do you think? Will it give me compilation error or not? Yes, you are right. Okay, there is no error at all. Else part is not compulsory, right? Else part is not compulsory at all. Okay, it is. Okay. So else part is not compulsory. So I'll undo this. We got to know else part is not compulsory. Let me compile and check whether else part is compulsory or not. So I'll compile. So what it is telling? It is telling. It will tell no problem, right? It will tell no problem. If or false, else will execute. There is no else, no output. But what if there is no if? What if there is no if? Right? What if there is no if? What it will tell? Is it an error? Yes, because every else should have some if. Every else should have some if. So without if you can't write else. So you have written else, there is no if. So what's the error message? It will tell else without if. So this is wrong. We can't write like this. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll tell like this. Watch here. I will tell false. Okay, I'll tell false. If it is false, what should execute? The else part should execute. But what I'll do is before printing the else part, I want to print something. Okay. What I'll print is I'll print, you know, middleman. I'll tell middleman like this. So how the control flow is happening here? Let's see. So first control will come here, right? Condition is false. If the condition is false, your if body will not execute. It will go to else. But before going to else, don't you think it is seeing something called as middleman? So tell me, okay, what is the output here? Will it print executing else, or will it print middleman? Then it will print executing else. So what do you think is the answer? Okay. Let's see. Okay, the answer, let's see the answer here, right? Okay. So some guys have different opinions. Yeah, let's see. So maybe let's see. Answer is, else without if. Else without if. What you have to understand is, see, before, between if and else, there should be no other statement. Okay, between if and else there should be no other statement. It should be pure if and else. Okay, so can't you see that? Okay, between if and else there is something here. Yes, that is why what will happen is this else is there, right? This else is not able to connect to the if. The else is not able to connect to the if. That is what is happening here. I hope you are understanding. If else has to connect to the if, immediately above there should be one if. There should be one. I hope you have understood this. Okay, you have understood what is possible and what is not possible. In the next class, we'll be seeing what is else if and all. But today we'll be continuing something different. In the next class, we'll be seeing what is this else if and all. So I hope you have understood till here. Now, okay. Now let's talk about the ternary operator, which I've been waiting for. So I'll be clearing everything. Okay. So ternary operator. Ternary operator. Now, what is this ternary operator? Ternary operator means it includes something like this question mark and colon. This is a ternary operator. When these two both comes, it is called as a ternary operator. So what is the syntax of a ternary operator? One example, if I have to give you, the example of ternary operator will be something like this. Example will be like this. Int a is equals to true question mark 5 is to 50. This is how the example, okay, is. This is how the example is. So in the if and else, what will happen now is, I'll tell you. See, in the if and else, okay, there is a if and else here. Tell me one thing, if the condition is true, will the first body execute or the second body execute? The first body is the if body, the second body is the else body. See, I'm telling you a trick so that you can remember. Okay. So if the condition is true in the if block, don't you think the first body will execute? Yes. So if the condition is false, right? If the condition is false, okay, what will be executing? The second body will be executing. If the condition is false, the second body will be executing, right? If the condition is true, the first body, the if body, will be executing. If the condition is false, the second body will be executing. That is very simple to remember in if and else. Using the same logic, we'll apply ternary operator also. So finally, I'll tell you what is this ternary operator, how the control flow will happen. See, what will happen is, okay, this ternary operator, left side of the ternary operator, it should be Boolean value only. Okay, it should be Boolean values only. I hope you are understanding. Okay, what should be? This is a ternary operator, right? This is a ternary operator. Left side of the ternary operator, always it should be Boolean value. You can either tell true or you can tell false, or you can write an equation which will return true and false, like 2 less than 5. That you can write. Okay, because 2 less than 5 finally returns what value? Boolean value. So you can write that. And right side, what it should be? Okay, it can be any type, right? It can be any type. It can be Boolean type, it can be char type, it can be string type, but the both the type has to be same type. You can't give integer and a string. You can't give integer and a character. You can't give double and a float. Okay. So what you have to give, you have to give the same type. Okay. You have to give the same type. Let's see. So what will happen finally is like this. Okay. If the condition is true, what will happen is if the condition is true, okay, the first value is returned. If the condition is true, the first value is given to this A if the condition is true. Don't think the condition is true now, which means 5 will be given to A. But if the condition is false, okay, the second value will be given to A. So when will the second value be given? If the condition is false, the second value will be given to A. Take this screenshot once. Take this screenshot. Okay, I'll give more examples. So I hope you have taken the screenshot. Okay. So let's see here. Let's see with the example. Okay, I'll write here int A is equals to 2 less than 5 question mark. Okay, 8 is to okay 20. Okay. Then I'll be writing here int B is equals to 3 greater than 5 question mark. Okay, 6 is to 13 and semicolon. Yes, this is how you have to write ternary operator. Then I'll be telling system.out.print I want to print A value. Then system.out.print I want to print B value. So let's see what will happen. So first, I have to evaluate this. Is this true or false? Is 2 less than 5? Yes, the condition is true. If the condition is true, what will happen? The first value is given to this A. So what's the A value now? It is 8. So simple it is. Let me come to the second line. Okay, that is 3 greater than 5? No, 3 is not greater than 5. So answer is false here. So if the condition is false, okay, remember, same like your if and else. If the condition is false, the second value is returned. The second value is 13, 30. So B value will be 13 now. Okay, so answer will be 8 and 13. Right? Let's see. Okay, let's see whether this is right or not. I hope everyone has understood how the control flow is happening. Simple example I have given. So I want to print A and I want to print B. A is equals to and int B is equals to, there are two variables, right? Is 2 less than 5? Is 2 less than 5 question mark, and the second question is 3 greater than 5 question mark. 8, 20, right? Here it is 6 or 13. So let's see. The answer should be like this, right? The answer should be 8 and 13, right? Why? Because when the condition is true, the first value is given to A. When the condition is false, the second value is given to B. Simple. Please take this screenshot. Take this screenshot. Yes. So I hope you have taken this screenshot, right? Simplest way ever to explain a ternary operator. Now, we have to understand the precedence level of ternary operator, which means, okay, I will clear here. See, when I have this arithmetic operator, right? 5 into 2 by 3, mod 4 by 5. So when you have something like this, all of them have the same precedence. When all of them have the same precedence, what is the associativity? Okay, is it from left to right or right to left? That is what you have to understand. Here, it is from left to right. It is from left to right, which means if you try to solve it, if you try to solve this first, and if you try to solve this first, it will not happen, right? Because according to the rule, first you have to do 5 into 2, then for that answer divided by 3, then for that answer mod 4, like that from left to right you have to go. Why? Because it is a rule. Because in the arithmetic operator, you can see in the precedence table here, for arithmetic operator, right, it is left to right. I hope you are seeing it here, right? Okay, let me maybe highlight it to you. So, see, okay, so you can see here, it is from left to right, right? You notice one thing, for For ternary operator, what is this? Okay, what is this? What is this we have to do? Let's see. For ternary operator, where is the ternary operator? Yes, it is not from left to right. It is from right to left. Are you noticing? It is from right to left. Then what does it mean from right to left? How to solve it from right to left? That we'll see. Okay, we'll see. So this I'll be closing it. Let's see what's the meaning of right to left. Okay, I'll be erasing everything. So if your question is asked like this, okay, that is 2 less than 5 question mark, 6 less than 2 question mark, 3 is to 5, okay, is to, yes. So is to, let's say 2, yes, 7, right? So this is what I have written. So you might be thinking, what have you written? You know, something is there here, multiple operators. I don't know how to solve. That's what you'll be thinking. It is very easy, right? It is very easy. So according to the rule, what you have to do, from right to left, you have to solve, which means you have to search for the rightmost ternary operator. Which is the rightmost ternary operator? The rightmost ternary operator. Okay, so I'll be closing it. I'll take a different color here. The rightmost ternary operator is this question mark operator. The rightmost question mark is this. So you have to search for the question mark, which is the rightmost. As soon as you find the question mark, you have to understand one thing. Each question mark has a Boolean value. This is a Boolean value. You have to group them together now. This is a Boolean value. And each question mark has a true value, and each question mark has a false value, which means you have to group the first ternary operator like this. You have to group them. Okay, after grouping them, you have to solve only for that. So when you solve only for that, other operators should not be touched. Okay, other operators should be as it is, but the result of this, let's see what's the result of this. So is 6 less than 2? 6 is less than 2? No. If the condition is false, no, then what is the answer which is returned? Yes, 5 is returned. Where it is returned? You have to erase whatever there is in the red color. No, you have to erase that, and the answer is 5. You have to write. So in place of the big expression, you have to reduce it to the smaller expression. Okay, because the false value is given here. Other operators should not be touched. You should keep as it is. Is 2 less than 5? Question mark as it is. So this answer is 5. Then colon 7 should be there as it is. Now, is 2 less than 5? Yes, 2 is less than 5. Condition is true. The output, what's the output here? The output will be 5 because the true, this is true here. So answer is 5. Answer is 5. This is false here. If it is false, the second value is given. I hope you have understood this simple programming here. Answer is 5. Let's execute and see, is 2 less than 5, 6 less than 2. I want to print a value. Okay. Is equals to, is 2 less than 5, question mark, 6 less than 2, question mark. Then it is 3 is to 5 is to 7. 3 is to 5 is to 7. Right. Let's see. Okay, so I have now put semicolon. Yes, I'm sorry. When I execute, the answer will be 5. Take this screenshot. Take this screenshot. So I hope you understood. You have to solve from right to left. Okay. I hope you have taken this screenshot and take this screenshot also. Okay. Take this screenshot also. Take this screenshot. Yes, I hope you have taken the screenshot. Now, since you understood the procedure here, let me solve the big problem. Okay, let me solve the big problem here. I'll be clearing. So the question, okay, let me choose a black color, which will be more vivid. Okay. So is 3 less than 8, 5 less than 6, 7 is to 8 is to 5. Okay. Is 5 less than 3? Question mark. 6 is to 7. Okay. Okay. So now I know your understanding. Sir, how are you managing to write this question? Okay. How do you know this? I'll tell you. How much question marks are there? That many colons should be there. Very simple. Okay. Now let's see. If I want to see how many question marks are there, there is 1 question mark, 2 question mark, and 3 question mark, right? And how many colons are there? 1 colon, 2 colon, 3 colon. So it is balanced now. It is balanced. So I'll put a semicolon. My question is complete. It is balanced. So now, how do I solve this, right? What you have to do? No, maybe no. Let me give some more question here. Let's make it a little big here. So 7 less than 8 question mark. Okay. 6 is to 5. Let's see how many question marks are there. 1, 2, 3, 4 question marks. How many colons? 1, 2, 3, 4 colons. Yes, it is right. Okay. So what you have to do? Search for the question mark from right to left. So rightmost question mark I have to search. So this is the rightmost question mark. And for each question mark, there is a true value, there is a Boolean value, true value, false value. So you have to group them together. So this for this question mark, this is the Boolean value. I will group that. This is the first value. This is the second value. You have to group them. After this, okay, is 7 less than 8? Yes, 7 is less than 8. If 7 is less than 8, condition is true. The first value is given because the condition is true here. The first value is given because I'll write here tick mark, condition is true. 6 is written here. So that whole expression is reduced to 6. Other operator should be as it is. So let me write the other operators as it is. Okay. Is 3 less than 8 question mark. And the biggest mistake is, see, when you're writing this again and again, you will go somewhere wrong. So when you're copying the question, don't make the mistake of writing it wrong. Write as it is. 5 less than 6 question mark 7 is to 8 is to 5 less than 3 question mark 6 is to, okay, 6 is to, the result of that is 6. So I'll be writing 6 here. Okay, I have written 6. So what you have to do now, you have to search for the next operator, which is from the right side. I have to search for the rightmost operator, right? But ternary operator, this is the Boolean value, this is the first value, this is the second value. You have to group them like this. I have grouped them. Okay, then is 5 less than 3? No, 5 is not less than 3. So false it is. This is false. So second value is given to the below. So other operators, I have to write as it is. Okay. So is 3 less than 8 question mark, 5 less than 6 question mark, 7 is to 8 is to, okay. So what's the answer from this? The answer is 6 semicolon. So you can notice that how many question marks are there? 2 question marks, and there is 2 colons. So it is balanced every time. So now let's see here. Okay, which you have to group from the right side. Search for the question mark. So is 5 less than 6? That's a Boolean value. This is the, okay, see, this is the first value. This is the second value. You have to group them like this. Okay, you have to group them like this. Simple. So is 5 less than 6? Yes, 5 is less than 6. So the first value is returned. The 7 is returned to the below. So if I write the other operators as it is 3 less than 8 question mark. From this the answer is 7 is to 6 as it is. The 6 will come below as it is. Is 3 less than 8? Yes, it is true. So the 7 is returned. The answer is 7 here. I hope this everyone has understood here. So if I'm writing the question, right? If I'm writing the question, let me write it like this here. I'll write the question to see whether my methods are right or not. 3 less than 8 question mark. 5 less than 6 question mark. 7 is to 8, okay, is to 5 less than 3. Then question mark 6 is to 7 less than 8 question mark 6 is to 5. Compile, and when I execute, the answer should be 7 as we have deduced, right? Very simple program, very easy to understand. And please take this screenshot. The only way to master in this is to give yourself a question and to solve it. How to give yourself a question? I have told you, right? How many question marks are there? That many colons should be there. You can give yourself questions. I hope you have taken this screenshot. Okay. Okay. So please comment, whether you have understood or not, the topic till here, whatever you have done today. See, you have almost understood all of the operators, right? So I'll be telling now what is this assignment operator and all. So you have understood logical or okay. So let's see what and all you have understood here, right? So you have understood this logical or yes, ternary operator, logical and bitwise or bitwise XOR, right? So and operator is not equal to double equal to we have seen, and is less than greater than we have seen. Bitwise operators, shift left, shift right, shift we'll see later. Addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, So everything, almost everything you have seen here, right? Okay. So I'll clear this. So what is remaining now? Maybe I'll be telling you about assignment operators, because what you might have thought is there is only one assignment operator, that is 5. Give the 5 value to A. So this equals is there, it is an assignment operator. Okay, is assignment operator. So what are the other assignment operators? I'll be telling you. So if you have an equation like this, what's the full form of A plus plus? A plus plus means A is equals to A plus 1. Agree? This is how it is, right? A is equal to A plus 1. Now A is equal to A plus 1 can also be written in some other way. What's the other way in which it can be written? That is, whenever you have two variables, two same variables, you can change the equation like this. You can tell A plus is equals to 1. A plus is equals to 1. So I'll be writing its equivalent uh, code here. A plus is equal to 1 means A is equals to A plus 1. Okay, I'll be making two sections because I need more space. Then A, not only for plus, A multiplied is equals to 2. It means that A is equals to A into 2. Simple. Okay. Then not only that, let's see, A divided by is equals to 2. Let's say 3. It means that A is equals to A divided by 3. I hope you are getting the point, right? How easy it is to understand. Next, A mod is equals to 5. It means that the new value of A is old value of A mod 5. Okay, I hope you are getting it here. This is not only for arithmetic operator, for other operators also. For example, A and is equals to 5, which means that A is equals to A and 5. And is a bitwise operator, right? So I hope you are understanding. It can be applied anywhere. So this is the assignment operator. This has the lowest precedence because assignment is happening here. So please take this screenshot. Take this screenshot. The heading you can take it as assignment operators. Okay, assignment operators. Yes. So I hope you have taken the screenshot. Now let me give one code snippet so that let's see what you will do. So if I write int A is equals to 5, I have written int A equals to 5. Then I'll write A into is equals to 3 plus 2. I have written like this, 3 plus 2. So can anyone tell me, okay, what is the answer here? Can anyone tell me what is the answer? Okay, can anyone tell me what is the answer? So 17, okay. So Suraj is telling 17. Is there anyone telling answer? Yes. Yes, very good. So all of you are telling 17, right? Yes. Because you know that, okay, this can be written as A is equals to A into 3 plus 2. Yes. So which means multiplication should happen first. What's the A value? 5. 5 into 3 should happen first, plus 2. 5 into 3 is 15. 15 plus 2 is what? 17. And that 17 value is given to A, right? So this is what the answer is. Okay, so answer is 17. Is there anyone telling other than 17 here? No, right? You have understood, right? So the answer should be 17. Let's see. So if you get a shock, please don't be shocked, okay? Because this is the way to teach you what is right and what is wrong. So A into is equals to 3 plus 2. Now, those who are telling the answer is 17, you're 100% wrong. You're 100% wrong. Let me tell you how it is. The answer should be 25. Okay, let's see how it is. Let's see how it is. So that is why I wanted to explain each and everything in detail. Okay, the answer should be what? 25. So how it is 25? I'll be telling you. Okay, I'll be telling you. So whatever you have seen just now, okay, whatever you have seen, this was your thought process, and this whatever is your thought process, it is completely wrong. It is completely wrong. Then how we should have calculated? How to calculate these kind of problems is very simple. See, I will go to this precedence table and I will show you. Don't you think that the precedence level for assignment operator is very low? The precedence level is 1, means it is very low. Okay, which means before coming to the equals to sign, the right hand side should be evaluated. Then only it can come to the left hand side here. Okay, it is very simple in the assignment operator that very simple. After evaluating the right side operation, then only it can come to the left side. Is that clear for you? Yes, is that clear? So when it will come to the left hand side, it will come to the left hand side only if it evaluates the right hand side. That is how your assignment operator is. Okay, which means, okay, this is wrong here. What's the right thing to do? The right thing to do is 3 plus 2 should happen first. What is 3 plus 2? That is 5. So A into is equals to 5 will happen. Okay, once this is evaluated, then it is expanded to like this. A is equals to A into 5. Now it will expand. Okay, so what is this A value? 5. 5 into 5 it will do. That is 25. I hope everyone has understood how to evaluate these kind of problems. If you have understood, take the screenshot and comment whether you have understood or not. Take the screenshot. So I hope you have taken this shot. So I'll be asking you one question here. Let's see who will solve it. A value is equals to 8 into A equals to 8. A into is equals to 3 plus 2 into 5 plus 3. Right? So what will be the answer here? Instead of 8, let me make it as 2. Okay, let me make it as 2 because it will be very difficult if it is 8. It is 2. Let's see. What will be the answer? So how you have to evaluate? What will be the answer? 32. Let's see. So what we'll do is, first always you have to evaluate which side? Right side. Okay, you have to evaluate right side. And when you're evaluating the right side, which has the highest precedence? Multiplication has the highest precedence. So you have to do this 2 into 5. What is 2 into 5? It is 10. Other operators as it is you have to keep. Okay, A into. So 3 plus 10 is 13. 13 plus 3 is 16. So it is 16 here. A into is equals to 16. So when I expand this, A is equals to A into 16. What's the value of A? 2. What is 2 into 16? It is 32 is our answer. Okay, 32 is our answer. So I hope you have understood it here. Okay, you have understood. So one question which you will be seeing with respect to this is a common question. That is, they will write a program like this. Okay, int a comma b comma c comma d. Okay, d is equals to 10. Okay, what they have done? They have in one line they have initialized and declared multiple values. They have initialized only for the d. They have not initialized for a, b, and c, but they have declared a, b, and c. Right? They have declared a, b, and c and d also, but initialized only for d. Now, what will happen is like this. They will write one line that is a plus is equals to b multiplied is equals to c divided by is equals to d. Okay. I'll write multiply is equals to 2. Okay. Let me write something like this. and they'll print system.out.print, print a value. Okay, I'll not write it here. So what we have to print is we have to SOP, we have to print a value, b value, c value, d value. So how do we evaluate this? Let's see. So what should happen is your assignment operators, ternary operator and assignment operator, the priority is from associativity is from right to left. Right to left you have to solve. So first we'll expand this. What's the meaning of d into is equals to 2? It means that d, I write it here, d is equals to d into 2. That's the meaning of that. What's the d value now? D value for us which is given is 10. Is first of all, let's try the memory diagram. A value is we don't know a value, b value we don't know, c value we don't know. Right now d value is 10. So what's the d value? 10 into 2. What is 10 into 2? 20. 20 is given to whom? D. So now don't you think d value becomes 20? Yes, d value becomes 20. That 20 value, okay, this is erased and the 20 value is kept. So this evaluation will happen now. So C bar is equals to 20 means C is equals to C by 20, right? C is equals to C by 20. Now my question is, what is the current C value? What's the current C value? Do you know any current C value now? Do you know any current C value? No, right? That's why it will tell compile time error. It will tell compile time error. To overcome compile time error, what I will do is I will initialize all A value, B value, C value, D value with 10. Okay, you have to initialize all the A value, B value, C value, D value with 10. So let me initialize everything with 10 only. Okay. So later I will tell in the future classes, why it is error. Okay, what's the difference between C and Java? Okay, what's the problem in initialization? Everything I'll be telling. But right now, imagine that for all the values I have given 10, 10, 10. So here, what's the C value now? C value is 10, right? So 10 by 20. What is 10 by 20? 10 by 20, okay, is, what's the answer? What's the answer? 10 by 20. Okay, it is 1 by 2. 1 by 2 means 0.5, and you know that 0.5 is lost, right? Answer is 0 because integer by integer is integer. Now that 0 is given to whom? C. So our C will become 0. Our C will become 0. So this whole expression is replaced with 0 now. Okay, B is equals to B into 0, right? So we have to evaluate this. B is equals to B into 0. So what's the B value? B value is 10. What is 10 into 0? 10 into 0 is 0. And where is the 0 given? To B. So our B also becomes 0. So this whole expression, this answer is 0 now. Okay. And when you finally execute this, A is equals to A plus 0. What's the A value? 10. Okay. 10 plus 0. Answer will be 10 only. A value will be 10. And finally, when you print, it is 10, 0, 0, 20. Okay. I will not execute this because I believe that you trust me now. You can execute and check for yourself. Or when you get a question in an interview, definitely you might be getting question something like this. Okay, if they're asking about that is assignment operator, this is only a question which can be asked. So I hope you have understood how to evaluate. Okay, so let me erase this. So that is all remaining. So what I'll do is before concluding this class, okay, I want to show one website to you. I want to show some questions so that you can believe yourself that you can solve. So some of the questions are, let's see. Okay, so I'll come here. So what are the questions here, right? Let's see. So one question they have asked, right? So that let me increase the maybe. Let me increase the font size here. I think you can see better now. Okay, you can see better. Just a minute. Okay, I will be closing this. What is the answer here? What do you think is the answer? Okay, so the question is, which of these is returned by the greater than or equals to operator, right? So they are asking, what is the return value, right? What it accepts and what it returns. I have already told you, right? So you are less than and equal to operator. What category it is? It is relational operator. And relational operator, it accepts what type? It accepts any number type, right? It accepts number type, but always returns what type? Can you guys tell me? Always it returns what type? If I tell 5 less than 2, always return what type? It returns what type? If I tell 5 is less than 2 or is 2 is equal to 5, yes, it always returns Boolean type. So let me view the answer. Don't you think answer is Boolean type C? Let me view the answer. What type is telling, option is C. Or relational operator return a Boolean value, that is true or false. Yes. So you are able to answer this question. Let's answer the next question. So which of the following operators can operate on a Boolean variable? So, so what it is telling? Which of the following operators can operate on a Boolean variable? Can you tell true and true? Yes, you can tell true and true. Can you tell is true equal to true? Yes, you can tell true is equal to true. Yes. Can you use Boolean operator for this ternary operator? Yes, we have seen just now, right? You can tell here true question mark is equals to. So we are applying a Boolean variable on this ternary operator. But can you tell, okay, true plus is equals to 5? Can you write something like this? Or can you write true plus is equals to true? Okay, can you do something like this? No, because for Boolean operator, there is no meaning if you tell true plus true. True plus true. It is not possible. It is not possible in Java, right? True plus true, there is no meaning for that. False plus false, there is no meaning. That is why the fourth option is invalid. But the question is what? What's the question? Which of the following operators can operate? Fourth one is invalid, but don't think 1, 2, 3 are valid. That's why the answer should be D. That is 1, 2, and 3 should be valid. So I'll be erasing all of them. Okay. So answer should be D. Let's see. I'll be clearing all my drawings and I'll be closing this. What is my answer? Answer should be D. Let's see. I have told yes. Answer is D. Let's see their explanation. Okay. So operator short circuit. Yes. So that's also called as I told which keeps evaluating right side is called as short circuit operator, right? Short circuit. Why short circuit? Because it skips the checking of the next one. Okay. Equals to and ternary if and else are Boolean logical operators. Plus is equals to is an arithmetic operator. It can operate only on numeric values. Yes, that also we knew. Okay, so I hope you are understanding. How much you are knowing now. Imagine if this question was asked right 1 week back, then how much you knew maybe. Okay, so which of these operators? Okay, let's. Okay, so let me go there. So which of these operators can skip the evaluating right hand operand? So which of this operator can skip the evaluation? Not operator will not do it. Or operator it will skip. It will evaluate everything. And operator it will evaluate everything. But that D is there, right? Double and logical that will skip. So answer is and operator. Let's view the answer. The answer is yes, option D. That is the and operator. So which of this statement is correct? Okay, let's see which of the statement is correct. Which of them is correct, right? So yes, let me take this pen here. True and false are numeric values of 1 and 0. In Java, they are telling that true means 1 it seems, true means 1 it seems, and false means 0 it seems. Is it true in Java? No. In Java, true means true, false means false. So this is wrong. True value is 0 it seems, and false value is 1 it seems. This is also wrong. True is any non-zero value and false is 0. This is true in C only. That's what I told, right? In C programming, false means 0, but true is any non-zero value. This is for C, but not for Java. Let's see the fourth one. True and false are non-numeric values, and this is the right answer, right? True means true, false means false. They are not numeric value at all. So according to us, D is the correct answer. Let's see what it is. Let me clear this and let me close. What is the correct answer? View answer I will do. According to us, D is the right answer. So, true and false are keywords. They are non-numeric values which do not relate to zero or non-zero numbers. True and false are Boolean values. Yes, you already knew this. So, which of them have highest precedence? I have showed you the table, right? I have showed you the table. Yes, that basic knowledge you should know. Okay, which is the highest, which is the lowest. Lowest is the assignment operator, and the highest is the bracket operators. Okay, so definitely bracket, it has the highest precedence. I'll tell you the answer. Option is A. The order of precedence is highest, lowest, A, B, C, D. So they are telling that this has the highest precedence.